All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Carr.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Daniels.
Here.
Frost. Here. Gaylord. Guerra. Hanson.
Here.
Harris. Kennedy.
Here.
Lee. Natoli.
Here.
Peters. Cerna. And Terry.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And so with that, we will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will be led by Supervisor Kennedy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And so, without objection, I'd like to suggest that we go ahead and recess to closed session to take those action items, and then when we come back, we'll take up the public hearing item, because I know we're being pressed for time for a couple of our members. Okay, so with that, without objection, we will recess to closed session. Okay, we'll call this meeting back to order and take up Item 3 for public hearings. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Legal counsel has a report out from closed session.
The board authorized or adopted and approved the staff's recommended settlement approach.
Thank you. So item 3, adopt Rule 468, surface. Let's just take this one. Surface coating plastic parts and products.
Good morning. My name is Mark Lautsenizer. I'm the Division Manager of the Program Coordination Division. What we have before you here today on item 3 is Rule 468, the surface coating of plastic parts and products. We're bringing this rule forward today as part of a state implementation requirement as it relates to a Federal Control Technique Guideline, or CTG. The CTG actually covers a number of different type of coating operations, some of which we already have covered by existing rules and regulations. We did identify, though, that we have one potential affected facility here in Sacramento that is subject to the plastic parts and coating. That is Siemens. They're the one facility large enough operation. We have had meetings specifically with Siemens to go over the elements of the rule, and we are happy to say they are already in compliance with the requirements that we need to put forward from the federal standpoint. In addition to that, as part of this CTG requirement, we also had to look at pleasure craft coating. We have not identified any subject facilities, so as part of this action, when you do, we ask that you open up for public hearing. We'll also be asking that you go with a negative declaration for exemption, or an exemption on the pleasure craft coating, since we do not have any affected facilities. With that, if there are no other questions, we would ask that the board open the public hearing on this item.
Go ahead, Member Hanson.
No, I was suggesting that we open the public hearing, take public comment.
Till we open the public hearing. Do we have any comment?
No, we do not.
Any questions for staff?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and adopt the item.
Second.
So we'll close the public hearing. And I have a motion from Hanson, a second from Guerra. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And with that, we'll move back to our consent calendar.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any comment on the consent calendar?
No, we do not.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, consent calendar carries. And now we'll move back to the Air Pollution Control Officer's report.
Actually, Mr. Chair, the first item on the agenda is a special presentation.
Oh,
If
you're
we
right.
may,
Thank you very much. Yeah, let's go back to there. So Marie, Brown, Hicks, and Kessler. Oh, Damari, excuse me. Thank you.
Maybe
That's why
as-
they have me sit here, Mr. Chair.
Maybe as a way of,
Phonetically, I might have been right, though. I don't know.
Mr. Chair, I'll answer to anything.
Hi, Dominic.
It's been Damar, Damer.
These Irish guys can't pronounce Italian names.
And I'm bookended by, capital and legislative guys, so
You're just
I think they
digging-
know you anyway.
He's just digging deeper.
Nice to meet
it's
you,
okay,
though.
Dominic.
Pleasure meeting all of you. My name is Dominic Damari, and I am one of the partners in Damari, Brown, Hicks, and Kessler, a lobbying firm that has been recently retained by you good folks to represent you in front of the legislature and the administration here in Sacramento. And I've been asked just to give a brief sort of background about us so that you know who we are as we work together into the future. Our firm has been in existence since 2007, started by Amy Brown, and then she brought me over from my work at the California Chamber of Commerce. And then in 2010, we added both Jody Hicks and Alice Kessler. I have a history and a background in the legislature and working for associations, including the State Chamber of Commerce. Amy Brown is our local government and pensions expert. She worked for the League of Cities and then left and started contract lobbying. Jody Hicks has an extensive background in healthcare and public policy around healthcare and public health and safety and women's issues. And Alice Kessler has a more corporate background, having worked for Comcast and was the in-house lobbyist for EQCA for many years. And so she has a background in policy areas around the LGBT community and sort of family law and those particular issues. We have local government clients, we have corporate clients, we have a diversity of clients that help us represent all our clients because we're involved in many, many issues. And it's our intention, working with you and your executive director, to increase the presence and the visibility of your organization within the Capitol and to start engaging in a meaningful way in the budgeting process. And in particular, looking at cap and trade funds and the various different funds that are out there, pulling down some monies for the region so that you can continue and expand on your work on cleaning the air and making the community a healthier place for all our children and everybody, that our residents here. We look forward to working with you. We hope and we know that we can do a good job for you, and we can help you do a good job on behalf of the constituencies that you serve. And we also recognize that you do represent constituencies, and it's our job to protect you and this board and make sure that you have the best representation and the best image in front of the administration and the legislature. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I know that brevity is the soul of wit, and so I'm going to stop.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for hiring us. We really look forward to working with you guys.
And so with that, we will now move on to what I think will be our last item. No, we got one more after that. The Air Pollution Control Officer's report.
Yes. Thank you again, and good morning, board. Good to see you here, and very pleased that we have DBHK on our side as we engage in some of the important work that we have before us. But anyways, what I wanted to do in the APCO report is really tee up 3 meetings that have taken place since the last time we met. And the reason I want to tee up the meetings is because obviously these are very important convenings for us as we make the rounds and begin to position ourselves to continue to strive for our objectives. And as Mr. Damari said, in particular, to position our district and region in a better place when it comes to some of the incentive and public dollars that are going to continue to be rolling out of the California Cap and Trade Program. So the first important convening just happened last weekend, and I was going to ask Director Hansen to see if he would share with you, the board, and those of us here, maybe some of the key takeaways and important points that came out of this particular discussion. Director Hansen?
I'm sorry, we were having a sidebar here about the local government commission's work in Yosemite. This year's LGC conference brought together about 90 local policymakers, county supervisors, city council members, and we talked about a lot of different things: air quality, sustainable communities, how to support infill and strategically accomplish a lot of the goals of our district. I always find it to be probably one of the most beneficial opportunities to connect with other local officials who are similar positioned to us from around the state, grappling with how to do this well, what are the priorities, how do we tackle them, and I'm also always very proud because leading those conversations are people from our region. Our APCO was part of the presentations that were delivered, and seeing the leadership from Sacramento, but particularly from the Air District. Every year we hear from colleagues in San Diego or San Jose or other parts of the state that Sacramento is really doing great things, and I think that Alberto knocked their socks off, except they had hiking boots on, so they didn't. it was harder to tell. But thank you for the support and for allowing board members to participate, because it is probably one of the most pivotal. The only thing else I'll say is next year it'll be consolidated with the CalCog conference, so we'll get even more synergy out of this by the opportunity to connect with the COGs as well, and that's so fundamental to a lot of the work we do here at the district, those partnerships with SACOG in our case and the other COGs as well.
Director Hansen has a leadership role in the conference, so he was very busy essentially running the show. I didn't get a lot of chance to interact with you directly, but Director Harris was also at the conference, and he and I got a chance to interact and have some really good dialogue in terms of I agree, some of the important topics that were discussed. It's great to see the representation from throughout the state at the local level, mayors, city councils, supervisors from various parts of the state, and get together and share, compare notes on some of the things that we're all working on.
One last thing, we did have Director Guerra's staff there, but I know several of the members have come before Director Cerna's presented. I believe Director Kennedy's been to the conference, Director Terry's been to the conference. We had a colleague of yours, Garrett Gatewood from Rancho, present.
I was registered, just couldn't make it.
I didn't want to say that. But I'd invite any of you who are interested. It is probably one of the most beneficial opportunities. A lot of the conferences we go to, and it's like very basic. You don't really get into discussion, let alone the kind of nitty-gritty discussion that most of us are afraid to have. But it really is dynamic. So
I certainly second that.
I would argue it's probably one of the best conferences I attend during the year, and I was very disappointed not to be able to make it.
So we'll be working with the board and hopefully generating some interest for those of you that perhaps haven't attended to consider attending next year. The second important convening that we had in the region occurred March 1st. And this is something that I've talked to the board a couple times already, and is what we call the Clean Air Partnership Cap and Trade Summit. The principal audience that we were after was our state legislators that represent the region. We got a very good turnout. Dr. Richard Pan was essentially the convener for the meeting, but we had Assemblymember McCarty come out. Mayor Darrell Steinberg was there. We had the Chief of Staff for Assemblymember Cooper, and our own Director Natoli was there. So I was hoping that he could share for the board maybe some of the takeaways from the meeting.
Yeah, very briefly, and I was there. I got there about mid-afternoon. Was able to stay to the conclusion. Didn't get a chance to hear Dr. Pan, but I came in about midway and certainly get a chance to hear presentations from the air districts and their staff. Board members from those districts were in attendance as well. I think the focus, though, the takeaway, and it was a good conversation with Mayor Steinberg and Assemblymember McCarty. Alberto engaged in some very lively conversation about, but I think in a very respectful but in a very important way that I think reflected some of the sentiment that was expressed by others in the room, or may not have, but was on people's minds, and that was it's related to cap and trade, to the allocations, and where the bulk of those allocations went certainly in the legislative process this first go-round, or the last go-round in the legislature, and the fact that our region received about 5%, I guess, if I recall correctly, of the overall. And yet the challenges that air districts locally, certainly throughout Northern California region, are experiencing, and whether it's in forest management or it's in with mobile sources or with a variety of other communities that may be affected, that really is a need, I think, to focus in on the process, as messy as it might be over the Capitol, or as quickly as it happens, so that our region gets more fair share. And I think that was it was important to hear, certainly from Mayor Steinberg, from his years of work in the legislature, but also from Assemblymember McCarty. And there was talk about a local caucus, and it was very engaging. Again, I think it will help improve maybe the strategic approach we take in the upcoming sessions of the legislature to hopefully improve the resources that are allocated to our region to do things that are very, very important to the people we all represent and to our air basins here in the local area, up and down, certainly Northern California, by all means. And so that was my takeaway. And again, I think the conveners did a really good job. Those that facilitated it, I think, brought it all back together at the end of the session. And again, I appreciate hearing some of the presentation. I think that exchange of information about with the challenge that are faced, but why those dollars are going to be so important for us to help meet the goals that we have, but also to provide for cleaner air opportunities here in our communities. So that was my takeaway. I don't know, Alberto, you obviously were there for the entirety of the session, so you may want to fill in some gaps that I missed.
No, that was perfect. I think one of the things that was very telling for me in terms of the fact that we're definitely building some momentum in terms of regional coordination, the fact that, as Supervisor Natoli said, we actually had folks like you, the air directors, the board members of the air districts from around our region. And I think that sends a very powerful message, right? That this is not just the Sacramento district, it's not just the rural districts, it's all of us working together. And we're beginning to make real progress. And the timing for this meeting was very fortuitous, because shortly after we had the State Legislative Summit that obviously is led and organized by the Sacramento Metro Chamber. And we as an air district, as an entity, participate in it as part of the air quality area of focus. But we're fortunate because Director Frost was this year's chair for this particular summit, and I was hoping that you could share with the board maybe some of the highlights and takeaways from this convening.
So I was honored to be the honorary chair of the Legislative Summit this year, and the honorary chair doesn't really do that much, I just want you to know. All the work goes on behind the scenes by the chamber and the businesses in the region and I was able to attend a couple of the committee meetings beforehand to just kind of get a feel for what are the big concerns of the businesses, and what are we taking to the Capitol? And they put a lot of work into it. It was an amazing day. I wasn't able to stay and go up to the Capitol because of meetings, but I was there in the morning for some networking where everybody converged at the Cal Chamber, and we were probably, I'm going to say about 150 people were there, maybe 200, and we were joined by California Lieutenant Governor candidate Eleni Kounalakis and Janet Napolitano, president of the University of California, who were our lunch speakers, and we had a very stimulating panel discussion that was led by Assemblyman Cooper, where experts in the field, in housing, we had Kevin Carson from New Home Company, Stephen Dawes from Mercy Housing, Liam Dillon from LA Times, Ryan Loofborough from Sacramento Steps Forward, Jeffrey Michael from University of the Pacific, and Nikki Mohana from Mohana Development Company. And they talked a little bit about some of the challenges that we're facing in the region with affordable housing, and how can we actually meet the needs and some of the challenges that we're facing with homelessness and attainable housing opportunities. And the issue areas covered a broad range from land use, housing, air quality, transportation, flood protection, agriculture, healthcare. We went over all those, talked about all those issues in our groups, and then everybody converged on the Capitol for a day of meetings and followed by a reception. It was a great event. I'm looking forward to next year being involved just as a participant, and I want to commend the Chamber for their advocacy, because advocacy does make a difference. It made big things happen just because you had those relationships with those people who cared to make something happen for you. So it was a great day, and I was really, really delighted to be there.
We certainly appreciated your very moving remarks opening the session, and I think what I take away from it is the fact that it's invigorating for us, because clearly air quality is front and center to folks that are arguing for some of the other very real and difficult issues that we have in the region. But it gives us an opportunity, because we are at the table, we are engaged, we are being sought after to provide our perspective so that we can continue to share the priorities. And I think it's an opportunity for us, because back to the Yosemite conference, as we begin and get better in terms of getting our hands around this whole issue of low carbon development, sustainability, more cap and trade funding, to me, I think those are the big opportunities that we all need to be thinking about. So thank you for sharing. That completes the APCO report, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have a comment by Vice Chair Guerra.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. One, I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate Dr. Ayala on, I think, stellar work of getting quickly to the response of the board on addressing this issue of how do we send a stronger message a few blocks over. And the fact that now we have a firm in place, and I see both Ryan and Laura from Damari Brown Kessler and Hicks out there being part of this, the summit, and working with Valley Vision. I mean, those are three clear action items that we've seen to get at this immediately and not wait another year before we get back into the same old song and dance. So with that, thank you, Dr. Ayala, and we look forward to more of this activity. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions for the executive? Thank you very much. And with that, we'll move on to item 4, our discussion calendar, and we're going to talk about the Sacramento Region's Community Air Protection Program.
Give me 1 second, Janice. Good morning, Chair Terry and members of the board. My name is Janice Lamb-Snyder, and I am the program manager for the air monitoring, planning, and data analysis sections at the district. Today, what I'm going to be talking to you is our district's efforts towards the AB 617 legislation. It's a new program that we're putting together, which we're calling the Sacramento Region's Community Air Protection Program. And it's in response to AB 617. And what is AB 617? It is a legislative statute that was adopted, signed last summer in 2017, and it really is a community-focused framework for air quality to reduce exposure in disadvantaged communities, in our disadvantaged communities most impacted by air pollution. And so there are requirements for this state board as well as the local air districts across California to implement this program. A couple of points that I wanted to bring up, which is that there are aggressive timeframes for this, the implementation of this program, as well as requirements for outreach. This is also a multi-year process, but today I'm going to be focused mostly on the first year implementation. So there are mainly 6 key components to AB 617. The first 2, community monitoring and community action plans, are partly are the ones that we're going to be talking about today. There's also requirements for enhanced emission reporting. The state is required to develop a uniform system to have certain stationary sources do annual reporting. There is also a requirement for the State Air Resources Board to have a clearinghouse of clean technologies, and for local air districts to adopt a expedited schedule for the best available retrofit control technology. And then there's also incentive fundings and community assistance grants that are part of this program, and the legislation also increased penalty provisions. So today I'm going to be talking about the community selection process for community air monitoring. And community selection is important also because it is tied to incentive fundings that could be brought into our regions to reduce exposure of these air pollutants. So AB 617 really, in order to make this program and this legislation work, is that we have partnerships between the state air districts and community members. The State Air Resources Board has the charge of developing a statewide strategy for a community action framework. They're required to also develop a monitoring plan, as well as selecting priority communities for monitoring and emission reduction plans. They are also asked to maintain a emission control technology clearinghouse and establish an annual emission reporting for certain industrial categories. The Air District also has a large role in implementation of this program as well, right? And so what we are really asked to do is to provide recommendations for communities and to conduct outreach. To give to the Air Resources Board for what they should be considering to adopt for their priority communities. We are asked to implement a community monitoring system if we are selected as part of a priority community, and we are asked to develop an expedited schedule for the best available retrofit control technology, also known as BART. If communities are selected as part of this program, you might be doing a monitoring system or a emission reduction plan as well. The community also plays a role, part of the legislation is that the communities is to be engaged, right? And so they're also asked to be able to provide recommendations to the Resources Board as well as our local districts to be considered for air monitoring or emission reduction plans. Also, communities provide a expertise on and their experience on maybe some of the things that we should consider as we're making these recommendations. So I talked earlier about the timeline being very aggressive for this program. We've done a lot to date since the legislation has been adopted. And we've been engaging with our local partners and our local legislative leaders, as well as Valley Vision, Clean Air Partnership. We've also had a March 1st meeting with our stakeholders to discuss implementation and preliminary analytical considerations for community selection. And so you've done a lot of these work already, and we're looking to continue this as we move forward. I have here our March board meeting today, as well as to talk to you all about, what are some of the considerations that we're going to be hoping to take forward to the state board. In April, there is an initial community recommendation that is kind of a first look at these are some of the areas that we have identified using technical considerations that we will be doing further analysis on during the April and May timeframe. So in April and May, we're looking to solicit feedback from the communities as part of the process. And in July, we're going to be submitting a final community recommendation to our board and to submit to ARB. So one of the points that I do want to emphasize is that our process is it's a requirement. Is a requirement that we have to do, and that our recommendations are to be considered, to be submitted to be considered for the state board's adoption. And then back in, or later in the fall of winter of this year, we're going to come back to the board and inform the board of CARB selected communities. So what is the purpose of community air monitoring? Really what it is to assess local community level pollution. And it's to gain a better understanding of what our local emission sources impacts are to the community, and really to determine whether or not an emission plan is needed in our area. And then we're also, of course, informing the public and tracking progress if reductions are necessary. So the legislation directed consultation from to ARB to work with air districts to come up with priority communities. And so we are, like I mentioned, going to be submitting initial recommendations to CARB in April. And like I said, it was based on preliminary technical information that I'm going to be talking about in a few slides later. They have to host community workshops and to incorporate feedback into these final recommendations. So it's first, let's take a first technical look at it, and then we go out and receive feedback, and then we make final recommendations to the Air Resources Board. So what are some of the goals of community engagement and inclusion? Community selection, it's to really engage the community in the selection process and to receive feedback on what are the inputs that we should be using, and what are the inputs that we should be using, and to understand really what are the needs of the community, what are their priorities and concerns that we should keep into consideration as we give our final recommendation. It is also for a way for the community to provide input for emission reduction plans to reduce local pollution exposure. So what did we use in our what are we using in our initial recommendations? First, we're using Cal Virus Screen 3.0. This is something that they wrote into the legislation, ARB's concept paper. We are using districts' knowledge of emission sources as well as known contributors. We know that in our region, roads and railways are a large part of our pollution. And then in addition to that, we're using health information. Part of the legislation also calls that we look at health information to be considered. So we looked at Valley Vision's community health needs assessment that was completed back in 2016, I believe, and there is a Healthy Places Index and other community input that we've received. So the general area concepts for initial recommendation is going to be a general description of communities in Sacramento County. We've made no assumptions on what communities' priorities and needs are. We want to, have that conversation to incorporate in our final decision. And we're really using this map as a discussion with community leaders and residents. On the right, you see a map of the county. And what this is that it takes several layers of information that I talked about before, and it really takes it and looks at where the density of those areas are. And this is a heat map. The black triangles are our existing air monitoring networks. And a point I do want to make about our existing air monitoring networks is that it's designed for to assess regional air quality for federal and state attainment purposes. So this map here shows the different types of information that we use. We have the air monitoring stations on there, which is still the black triangles. We have core facilities from ARB's toxics program, greenhouse gas facilities, coronavirus screens topped 25%, and then the low-income communities, and also the community health needs assessment. So we took all of those different layers, and we came up with this particular map here. So what I do want to call that these are equally weighted. So each of the considerations that we have not come up with a weighting factor, and we're waiting, to talk to the communities to understand more about what they value.
It's on fire.
Okay. And so the next steps is to work with the board and local communities to host meetings in April and May. We're going to be submitting our community recommendations to CARB in April, and final recommendations to the board, recommendations to the district board in July, and submitting by the end of July to ARB. CARB will select the priority communities by September. For adoption by October 1st, and what we're working on right now in the next week or so, we will have a district webpage to talk about our local efforts on 617. Thank you. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to.
Do we have any public
No, we do not.
comments? Okay. Any questions for staff? Director Daniels?
Sounds like a lot of work. Sounds like a lot of staff time, and maybe you said it and I missed it, but is there a guarantee that Sacramento gets any of this money?
Hi, Director Daniels. This is Mark Lautsneiser, Division Manager. I'll touch upon that real quick. So fortunately, in the first year's funding, so in last year's budget from the state, Sacramento Air District specifically did receive $750,000 toward our initial efforts for this program. That is partly being directed towards staff resources, because you're absolutely right. The resource element is pretty critical. And then we're also planning, as part of the budget process, a portion of those funds towards some community monitoring efforts, some equipment and resources toward that as well.
So I think I just heard you say we got $700,000. Most of it's going to go towards staff and some monitoring items. And then from that, we don't make a decision on whether we get money. CARB makes a decision whether we get any of this money.
Right.
And then if they make that decision and they actually are generous enough to include us, what kind of money would we be looking at? What kind of dollars? Any idea?
So there's when we talk about money, I want to make a distinction that we're not confusing the two. The $750,000 that Mark just spoke about is designed to support staff and district activities, specifically in response to 617. Clearly, as you just got a sense of, it's going to take a lot more once we're done than $750,000. So this is the unfunded part of the mandate that I spoke to you about last time. But we have to do this. This is state law. There is an expectation that districts obviously play a key role, and we're going to do the best we can, getting creative with our budget to make sure that we comply with the expectations. Now, the opportunity for us, again, is the law is designed in the most basic principle to say, if you are a region where you've identified excess impacts from pollution, and you've got communities in your region, then presumably you can make an argument and try to get access to more cap-and-trade dollars so that we can mitigate those impacts from pollution by investing in cleaner sources. Unfortunately, there are no guarantees, and that's why we need to become active and advocate for our positions.
When you say we have to do it, is it we have to do it if we want to compete for the dollars, or we have to do it whether or not we wanted to do it to compete for the dollars?
Well, so I'll answer that question, but I'll say, understanding that we are first and foremost interested in protecting public health, we have to do it because we need to understand better whether our communities are being disproportionately impacted or not. But it is clear to me that based on the dialogue from the state, that they are making a clear correlation. And actually, the legislators were very clear on that. The message from the legislature to the administration and the state agencies was cap-and-trade dollars are ready to be invested, but invest them in the communities that need them the most. And the ones that need them the most are the ones that have still ongoing challenges with ambient air pollution, and particularly emissions from localized sources. So that's basically the process in a nutshell.
Okay, and so just so that I'm clear, I'm just concerned that the cause is fine, everything is good, we want clean air. The love has not been adequately spread by the state, and I could see us spending all of these dollars and the state just saying, yeah, but we want to clean up LA and San Francisco. I'm so sorry.
And again, I'm not going to disagree with you. Again, that is the premise why we've become so active with our new lobbyist firm and all of you and the state legislators. I mean, we are going to try to do a better job to convey to the state decision makers that Sacramento is a region that, even though we've made a lot of progress, we still have a lot of need. Now, the reason we need to do this, again, is because this is going to provide us the evidence that we currently don't have. We have a lot of information based on our existing network, but that, as Ms. Lam-Snyder said, that is regional air quality. What we're talking about here is really localized impacts, big sources and how they impact the communities around them or downwind from them. And for that, we do need to undertake these new activities. But your point is very well taken. There are no guarantees, but I hope that you agree with us in terms of we have to try.
I think we all share Director Daniels' frustration of unfunded mandates. Those of us that used to be on the school board regularly enjoyed belly aching about all of them. Any other questions for staff? Okay, this was just a discussion, right? Not an action, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment?
No, we do not.
Okay. Board ideas or comments? Seeing none, we will stand adjourned.